in Savannah and Chatham County. And it's something that we call the 6 E's. Engage, excite, expose, educate, empower, and then expect, or expectation. So we engage kids in the definition to occupy the attention or efforts of. We get them active, we get them involved, we get them talking. Kids like to talk, and we'll just let them talk. We'll ask them questions, and we'll let them talk, and they just talk. And so they talk, and we listen, and we get them engaged in that way. And this is just different opportunities within our community, that we get them engaged. Every community event happening in the city of Savannah, they're going to be at. I got to be there, they got to be there. Social media, interesting, it took radio 38 years to reach 50 million listeners, television 13 years to reach 50 million users, the internet 4 years to reach 50 million people, and Facebook less than 9 months to add 100 million users. That's our reality. Our kids are smarter than we could ever hope to imagine to be. We probably could have fixed this real easy. We had a kid up, all you have to do is do this and this. Facebook, more than 1 billion active users. The average user has 130 friends. YouTube, more than 4 billion views per day. Blogs, 180 million. Twitter, more than 500 million accounts. And there are things now, Instagram, where kids just like taking pictures of themselves all day long. I don't understand. They kick each other and they do all this other kind of stuff. I'm trying to catch up. But we're not afraid of social media. We are where they are. And so you will see the presence of the Chatham County Youth Commission all over social media. But if you're going to be a member of our organization, you're going to have positive people on your page. You're going to have positive things on your page. If it's not something that you will say in council chambers, then guess what? It won't be on your page. And if you're going to do that, then you won't be a part of us. So again, it's setting an expectation, setting a standard. And then of course to excite people. So we let them meet people they want to meet. They wanted to meet Ludacris, so we got them to meet Ludacris. Jagged Edge, they wanted to meet Jagged Edge. Little John, I still don't understand Little John. Little John makes millions of dollars by saying, yeah! And they like that stuff. I'm like, is he a vocalist or an artist? And he just says, yeah! And people like that, so, okay. Queen Latifah from earlier days. Big Boy, who is from Savannah. Dan Reeves, who was former coach of the Giants and the Falcons, played the Super Bowl I. Ruby, I don't know if you remember Ruby, from Savannah as well. Lil Bow Wow, he's not just Bow Wow, but when he was little, he was Bow Wow, Lil Bow Wow. This is Coach Herman Boone from Remember the Titans. Create an opportunity to work with him. Ruben Studdard. Kids like that kind of stuff. And it means something, so we excite them. That's Hill Harper. That was at the National League of Cities Conference. I don't know who these young ladies are, but he was very happy to meet them. Then we expose kids. We find out that kids don't like most stuff that you initially put to them, but it's because they never tried it. So we're blessed to have a lot of things happening in Savannah, a lot of conferences, a lot of festivals, and so if they happen in our city, they have to go. And so we have a film festival, they have to go. And now all of a sudden, now their exposure has changed. The music festival, folks come from all over the world. Now we have jazz aficionados that are in the 10th grade because they now like jazz. The Latin festival. Again, these are things that happen right there in our community. The Asian festival. We have kids now that like Thai food now. Tara Fest, which is, we're known for a relatively large party in Savannah in March. This is the alcohol-free version of that party. The Black Heritage Festival. Gulfstream, major employer. And so we want kids to know. And they got to tour places that their parents who work at Gulfstream can't go. We're also a military community, so we want them to know the role the military plays. in our community, into our courts. We want them to be on this side of the courtroom instead of on that side of the courtroom. And then, of course, we'll take them traveling. They want to go to Times Square, they're in Times Square. That's the Indian Museum. And we connect with our commissions across the country as well. Louis Cacciacholi was a firefighter who saved millions of people, well, not millions of people, saved many people on September 11, 2001. Well, what better way to talk about September 11th was for them to meet him personally. We have been to Ground Zero every year since 2001. Matter of fact, when we went in 2001, it was still burning when the kids went. So we have a generation of kids that have seen what hate does and then what resiliency means in terms of our country, that we don't repeat the same mistakes. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so I'm a Knicks fan, God help me, and so many kids have never been to a basketball game. I'm up here, I know you have the Hawks, but you know, they wanted to go to Madison Square Garden, so we took them. And that's us. Now, God is right above there. That's God, and then we're right below God. Nosebleed was not even the it was worse than nosebleed. It was like brain hemorrhaging where we were. So far up, you just look down, and as usual, the Knicks lost again. Our kids wanted to go to the Apollo. Well, let's go to the Apollo. Again, exposure. We had kids who wanted to be artists. They wanted to perform at the Apollo. So you want to go on the Apollo, fine, go on the stage. So now they can say they were on the Apollo stage. And we have young people who have never seen snow before, obviously living here, and you know, they had to learn what snow was all about and what happens when you get in the wrong way of snowballs. So, I mean, for me, it was enlightening watching kids who have never seen snow before, just like crawling on the ground because they've never seen snow. But for us, it was the issue of exposure. And then we want to educate them. We want to develop the faculties and powers of a person by teaching and instruction or schooling, developing and training them. So we met Colin Powell in, I believe it was 2001. Invited us to the State Department. We were supposed to stay there 20 minutes. We stayed there 2.5 hours. And so all the wonderful things I've been telling these kids for years, I said, you could be anything you want to be, you could do anything you want to do. And then Colin Powell said, you could be anything you want to be, you could do anything. And they're like, yes, I hear you. Like, but you didn't hear me. So that's something they will never forget. Clarence Thomas from Savannah. You know, how many lawyers have never even met a Supreme Court justice? And we've been there and spent with them a couple of times. As a matter of fact, two of these young men, the young man with the jacket on is now a lawyer in Charlotte. So those are two African-American males that are not going to be on that picture. Okay, because you used to be exposed to them. We educate them. John McCain, met him in Washington, D.C. Obviously, if he had won president, he would have been further up in the presentation, but he lost, so he's further back. Wonderful opportunity, but to empower them. This is their city, so we do an annual youth rally that we take care of. They tell us who they want to see, we bring them. In the years we've done it, we've never had an issue, because again, this is their city, we want them to enjoy their city. We want to do things that are kid-friendly. So they wanted to have a step show on River Street, so guess what? They had a step show on River Street. This is their city. They want to have youth rallies, and again, we bring almost 1,000 kids and have never had an incident. We brought police chiefs in our community together to talk with young people because we realized there was a disconnect between kids and police. So we wanted to find ways to be able to bring them together. As well, again, we want them sitting in those chairs. We want them to get comfortable. We want them to feel them. We want them to aspire to be who you are and do what you do. Now, whenever we have a critical issue in our community, now we ask you. And this was when we had we were looking for a school superintendent. Those were the 4 finalists, and the school board asked that the youth commission actually hold a forum for youth. And the superintendent that was selected, who is the second gentleman from my right, actually said the hardest questions he got were from the kids. And they were some rough questions. But again, those are the consumers. Stephanie Edwards, one of our former youth commissioners, was on American Idol. I think she got to, she had to be number 11, I think, and then she got kicked off. still a star in our eyes. Again, another event, lots of kids. Again, their city. We want to be proud of their city. I mean, with all due respect, we don't want them coming to Atlanta. We want them to stay in Savannah. You know, their city has enough going on there for them. And if it's not, we should be able to make things happen for them. That was in our brand new Ellis Square. You know, we don't want, you know, this is their city. They wanted a boat ride, so we rented them a boat. They wanted to have a band concert, so we got them a band concert. Again, things that they want. We want them to give back to the community. This was something called, off of a book called Little Caterpillar, Hungry Little Caterpillar, right?
Caterpillar.
That, yeah. And so we created a big festival. The kids did over the Hungry Little Caterpillar. And that's what they did. And they had to read to kids. And they had to have events for kids. So what we found was that when our kids read to smaller kids, their reading actually got better. And that's actually one of my favorite pictures because she's very interested in what's going on. We had a problem with truancy, so we put this in all of our schools. A partnership between the Youth Commission and businesses that if you come into, because the kids knew where all the truants hung out. So we put these in there. We went to movie theaters and places. If you come into these establishments, these business owners are going to contact the truancy hotline. So our truancy dropped. Annually, we'll go up to the state capitol. We have issues that they want to legislate. Right now, we've been actively pursuing raising compulsory education age from 16 to 18. It does not make sense that at 16 years old, a child can say, I don't want to go to school anymore, and the judge can't make them go. So we've been fighting for that every single year. And the kids have made some very compelling arguments. This is our Love Shouldn't Hurt campaign. Kids came up with this with Safe Shelter because we realized that issues were occurring with young people in domestic violence much younger in age. So every February they don these t-shirts and they go out and they give people Hershey's Kisses and they tell them kisses, not disses. Love should never hurt. Yeah, and this was a press conference in which they did this. This is their ideas. We worked with the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children and participated in the Take 25 campaign to talk in May 25th each year. You take 25 minutes to talk to your child about safety. Again, this was a free initiative, but we partner with the national organization, and they send us all the stuff that we still have. But again, it's an opportunity for us to engage our young people. This is our Real Deal Behind the Wheel campaign as our first teen driving expo, because we realized there was some issues with that, and we've been working. We're actually playing our second one. This is actually a video. I don't know if it's going to work. It did. This was a. We were working to make Savannah, Chatham County a smoke-free community, and the Youth Commission took this on with our Coastal Health District. I'm proud to say because of those efforts, because of those ads, and because of the PSAs that we put out, the City of Savannah, Chatham County, and the school board are all 100% smoke-free. That's another really great video, but y'all won't see it today. But that is, that was a, when we got it, the schools were 100% tobacco-free. We celebrated. And it was something that young people did. They were concerned about cigarette smoking. We talked with the Coastal Health District about teen pregnancy. These were our kids. And they said, well, you know, you can't tell a child just not to have sex. You do it in terms of choices. And so we call this choices. That, you know, she was a dancer, she could either go to dance class or she could go to Lamar's class. She could go on a real date or have a play date. She could be a supermodel or she could be a supermom. And we found it to be very successful. We worked with our sheriffs for parental internet monitoring software that we can get to parents so they can see what their kids are looking at on the internet. So that was a very good partnership that's paid dividends, and unfortunately kids were not very happy about that, but they're all over our community. We had a teen leadership summit, and we just had our second one to, again, for us, the opportunity to listen to our young people. We just had in May, had our youth summit where we had a gang load of kids there. And it's a part of our process of working on a youth master plan with the National League of Cities.